Welcome to our month of World. The theme of this month is World. And what a world we're living in. There has been a lot of pain this week and recently, and sometimes the world is very confusing. We've all been going through a lot of stress, and we've all been wrestling with how are we going to handle the changes in this world. People have remarked on the ongoing pandemic and the new pandemic, by which I mean both COVID and racism, both of which seem to be coming to a head at this moment. In the middle of my week, my friend from seminary, Jasper Peters, who is a minister in Denver, happened to post on Facebook his thoughts. And I have to say, I think he hit the nail on the head in so many ways. And I wanted to share his message with you. Even though he's not a Unitarian Universalist, he's a Methodist minister. I think at this moment, listening, as I explained during the Time for All Ages, is one of the best things that we can possibly do. I entitled my reflection this week, Babel, because we have gotten to a point, as far as I can see, where we're having a difficult time listening. And we've been that way for a long time. The remarkable thing about that story is the idea that there is so much that could be done if we could just comprehend one another. For the longest time, people have been afraid to hear and to speak things that are absolutely true about white supremacy and racism in America. White people in this country have been afraid to hear it, and they've been in denial about a lot of things. And finally, black people, I think, are able to break through to white people. People who have bodies that we call bodies of color are finally able to speak in a language that white people seem to be willing to hear. And we're not going to be able to scapegoat. We're going to have to listen, and listen carefully. Because the truth is, this cannot go on. We will need to change as a country. My son, this week, while we were driving, and the radio was talking about the protests going on. And my son said, "Are they still protesting?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "I thought that officer was arrested." And I said, "Yes." "Then why isn't this over?" And I had to tell him, because we have 400 years of history, and we don't solve that with only one case. Finally, in America, I'm hearing people comfortable saying that Black Lives Matter. I can't tell you how important it is to say it, to not respond with the All Lives Matter, because this is Babel. This is where two sides begin to talk past each other. Many of you are familiar with the idea of a burning house, and that the ridiculousness of saying when a house is on fire, all the houses in this neighborhood are important. This is true, but only one house is on fire. When I talked to the kids in Time for All Ages, I talked about mythology. I talked about the fact that even if something wasn't factually true, there was a truth in a story that often made all the difference in whether or not it was told or not. America lives with a lot of mythology. There are things that we say that we believe that we don't act on. We should. We can. It's a choice that we don't. And I want you to think about that. I want you to think about mythologies, about stories that we tell. I want you to think about the Tower of Babel, about this great enterprise that was engaged in, that the whole world came together to do, and that it fell apart because no one could hear anyone else. No one could understand what anyone was saying, and the great enterprise was lost. Think about America for a minute. Think about the founding documents of America. Think about what we say we believe in. That we believe that all people are endowed with inalienable rights. The right to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. That we believe in constitutional law. That we believe that no one is above the law and that the law should be applied equally, without prejudice and without favor. Now ask yourself if that's true. I think you will find that it is not. Does that mean that everything about America is a myth in the first sense, in the sense that it is an untrue story? No. What it means is we have an aspiration, and we haven't reached it. And if we look at other mythology, maybe we can ask ourselves, why? Why hasn't this happened? Maybe it's because we haven't listened. Maybe it's because for white people, when our black siblings say to us, Black Lives Matter, we don't hear them. We respond, all lives matter. Well, first of all, it's pithy. Who cares? Yes, all lives matter, but if we're not on the line for people, if Black lives don't matter, then not all lives matter. And our actions at the moment, our actions for the last 400 years, have established that Black lives matter a lot less. It is our shame and our sin. I went out this week to the protests in Greeley for Black Lives Matter. And I have to say, for those of you who couldn't be there for safety reasons, I understand. I was uncomfortable at certain moments with the close proximity. But things had to be done. And some of us had to be there. And if you couldn't be there, there is still work to do. You can still amplify Black voices. You can still educate yourself. You can still listen to that call. On Tuesday, I hope that you join me. On Tuesday, I'm going to show the film Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee, which had a pretty profound impact on me as a young man, as a young white man. Because the truth of the matter is, this is the way that I got the opportunity to see the world through a black man's eyes. It's a good movie. It's a hard movie to watch. I'm looking forward to watching it with you. I don't want our great enterprise to be for nothing. I don't want it to be for folly or in vanity. I want it to mean something. I want to be able to build something, but I can't do it alone. And I know you can't do it alone. And so we have to work together. This country was not built exclusively on good intentions. Some of the intentions were evil. Some of the intentions included things like white supremacy. That has to stop. Just because you can't go out to the protests doesn't mean there isn't work for you to do. There is a ton to read. There's a ton to educate yourself about. There is money that can be given. There are bail funds that are available. There are justice funds that are set up. If you can't think of another place to give, quite frankly, giving to Black Lives of UU might be the perfect place to begin. Movies that you can watch include The 13th. Selma is going on sale free this month. My understanding is that Just Mercy is now showing for free online. Brian Stevenson's Just Mercy is a good book to read. The New Jim Crow is an excellent book to read. Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me, which we read an excerpt from last week, is a great book to read. How to Be an Anti-Racist. White Fragility, all of these books, all of these movies, all of this work is a great place for you to start. If protesting is not your thing, then letter writing might be useful to you. Calling the mayor might be useful to you. White supremacy is designed to be made easy. It is designed to pull the wool over everyone's eyes. I'll give you one small example. We celebrate in this state the fact that we are the centennial state, that we came into the Union in 1876. It's a part of our history that we're very proud of. What is less commonly known is that Colorado applied to join the Union in 1774 and was denied entry into the Union because the proposed Colorado Constitution included guarantees that only white people could vote and only white people could sit on juries. And with the passing of the 13th and the 14th Amendment, these were abhorrent. So when we get excited about something, ask yourself, have we ever heard the whole story? Or are we still just getting a myth? And if we are getting a myth, are we getting the kind of myth that simply promotes white supremacy? As my friend Jasper said, there cannot be reconciliation between the races in America because there has never been conciliation. He was so right to say we can't go back. We can only go forward. Jasper is inviting us. The members of Black Lives UU are inviting us. The members of the UNC Black Student Alliance are inviting us to join them, but not to join them on our terms, to join them on theirs. To stop babbling about the nonsense that all people are created equal, that all lives matter. Yes, they will someday, but not today. Today they don't. And we have to be clear-eyed. May we find the strength and courage to be clear-eyed, to see the world for what it is, to distinguish between the myths that are simply not true and the myths which give us meaning and into which we can build lives. I know that we have the bravery to do this. May we also have the will. Thanks for watching The Reflection. The Unitarian Universalist Church of Greeley puts full services online every Sunday at 10 o'clock Mountain Time on this channel. If you liked The Reflection, please do like it here. And if you want to share it more broadly, please do so using the link below. Up here is where there are more reflections that might be of interest to you, and below is a video that YouTube thinks you'd like to watch. Thank you for being with us. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments section. Hope to see you next time.